Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the A Dance of Dragons mod for Mount & Blade to Bannerlord. Today we're going to be diving in and taking a look at everything new with their brand new Patreon build. Keep in mind they are going to be making some big changes which we'll be taking a look at in a second that aren't currently in this build. However, as I'll explain them in a second, you guys will see, and we'll obviously make another video on that Patreon build does actually release. However, I wanted to make a video just kind of showing off a bunch of the stuff that they currently have in, because they have been doing some insane work over the past year since the last public release, and they are currently gearing up for the next public release that is going to be at the end of the year, much like when they released the previous version. And obviously so much has changed in a year of development time, but I do want to reiterate that this is still pretty early on in modding. They've done such an insane job to get the mod to where it is, so I do implore you to go and support them over on Patreon. As I said, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. You can get access to the newest build as well as help support the mod so they can invest in more assets and other impressive stuff. So one of the big things that they're going to be changing in the up and coming Patreon build that is not quite released and will inevitably become the actual proper full release, or not full release, but the next free release for everybody at the end of the year, is they're planning on removing a large portion of the settlements, basically every settlement in Essos and a few in Westeros. Because as you guys can see, the campaign map is absolutely huge. It goes all the way off into the east where Yitai is, and a whole wealth of other settlements with these legendary walls that are rumored in the lore and stuff. Like, what are these walls guarding against? Nobody knows, which is really, really awesome and cool to have out here. But for the most part, you're not going to really be playing out there in Essos. You're going to be focused in on Westeros, and in developing the mod and kind of creating and dealing with crashes and stuff that is causing problems with the mod itself. I imagine it is 100 times harder to pinpoint a crash, fix it across the board when you have all these extra settlements out here. So the dev team have decided to basically remove a ton of these settlements, basically a lot of stuff out here, as well as some settlements in Westeros, so that way they can better define and redefine and like really make the actual preview version that is releasing at the end of the year much better. They'll be able to get it much more stable and also help with FPS and a ton of other things. And then when they've really nailed down the gameplay in Westeros, they're then going to look to expand and add extra stuff out here into Essos, which again I think is a really good idea. It can be, I guess, very difficult when you're creating a mod like this, not just to want everything in all at once, but I think it takes a lot of restraint and shows that, reevaluating the project and realizing that maybe, having these extra settlements is going to do more damage than good at the start, and then obviously removing them, I think, yeah, is a really good thing, because I can only imagine like getting this stuff to actually work inside of Westeros first, and just you're going to be able to do so much more in such little time when you're focusing on just really making the gameplay here so much better. I will also mention right now as well, I'm sure many of you are going to be asking me, are there dragons yet in the mod? And no, they're not. They do have several dragons already 3D done. It's just about getting the animations in and making them actually work in the actual mod itself. However, it is something that I'm very much looking forward to, and is something that they are very much working on as we speak. But let's dive in, enough yapping, and let's take a little look-see at some of the settlements that they actually have been developing. These are going to be both normal settlements and also siege settlements as well. So if we quickly jump up here, we can take a nice little look at Storm's End right here, which I feel like it looks like a very intimidating castle. So again, you can siege this, and it's going to be very telling if you are going to be making your way over here to actually siege it, because as you guys can see, the assault is going to come in here at this position right there. You're going to break through this gate, and then you're going to be immediately met by another just as large wall, and then you're going to finally break your way in through the siege scene here and pushing your way into the courtyard with archers and other units smashing you from every single side. So Storm's End is going to be a very formidable castle, and if you wanted to manually do it, you could even set up a little defense back here. But as I said, I think Storm's End looks really cool, but this is just one of many scenes. I also really like the detail in the rocks out here as well. It's a small detail, but looks good nonetheless. Next, we make our way all the way up to the north and into Castle Black. And one of the really cool things about Castle Black is it also has interior scenes as well. So as you guys can see, you obviously just have the castle out here. We have the but there's like a tournament ground somewhere. You of course have the wall with the gate and the defenses, and again, keep in mind that all of these can be sieged as well. You can make your way up through all the positions, and you can make your way up, if it lets me. You can also make your way up into the trenches, into the defense of the position. and you can see there's like there's ballistas and other things to dissuade the attackers coming. But not only that, we also have really cool positions, so we can go into these custom scenes as well, which are scattered around. So again, this is going to be the mess hall, which looks really cool. Over here you have the library, so you can make your way all the way down to these steps and then open up into these really cool scenes. And there's attention to detail like this, which I think just really makes the mod. I hope they again find unique ways to bring you here, because you know, someone has spent a lot of time creating something like this. Hopefully quests and other things will just get you going around the map and fetching stuff and bringing it to people to then further interesting storylines. That, you know, that's something that I think is very necessary, because when you create these amazing scenes, you want to be able to utilize them. You want to encourage people to actually go to them. We will stay in the north right now as we make our way through into Winterfell. So yes, Winterfell has this really cool kind of outer village scene, which I'm sure Tyrion is very familiar with, and then we make our way to Winterfell itself, and it isn't just some simple settlement that can be easily taken like in the TV show. No, this thing is an absolute monster of a castle and looks very formidable, as you guys can see. So once again, Winterfell looks incredible all the way around, and again, you can make your way through all of these settlements. You can go and explore to your heart's desire, and of course you can continue to actually siege this one as well. Not only that, in the north we also have White Harbor. So again, White Harbor is a fully designed siege castle which you can take to look to actually attempt to siege and conquer. Again, White Harbor being the main settlement of the Manderleys, and then you can see again right here, it is pretty vast, more of a trade hub than anything else. As we make our way off, you can see the harbor here as well as ships come and go, and this settlement looks really cool. Again, I love the inner defenses as always, and as you guys can see, the actual siege defense will come from this way with two big turrets either side firing artillery and other weaponry at you as you make your way further forward. And again, the custom details on the houses look really good. I love the snow and the other bits of detail that have been scattered around. Sticking in the north as well, we do also have Carhold, looking very formidable, right? Being able to break your way across this bridge will be nigh impossible. And again, a very cool kind of just similar small castle, but again very defensible, and if you know, anyone does make their way this far north, they're going to be in for it. So again, I think taking this castle, if you try to go independent from the north, would be a really good idea. Then the final settlement in the north that has been done, and again keep in mind these are all siege scenes, so you can take these on. We also have Grey Water Watch. Given that very much kind of swampy vibe, you have these outer turrets here which will be scattered with archers harassing you. I love the little drawbridge as well, which is very cool, and the marshy terrain. You know, this does look like a very cool fortress, and a fortress meant to basically defend the north from any invaders. However, we are not just staying in the north, we also have plenty of other things to actually explore. So first things first, we have a whole wealth of new scenes for King's Landing. Not only do we have one of the largest scenes, and it's actually again all all interactable, and honestly it looks really formidable for the capital. I think it deserves this beautiful look. I also like the way that the settlement is designed as well, really kind of forcing you into these avenues. It's going to make siege battles and other things actually feel really unique. But yeah, I mean, the towering structures from the church and the chapel and the dragon pit as you make your way through, the awesome designs right here of dragons and other things as you make your way into the capital, and then finally to the Red Keep looks really cool. We also of course have the Red Keep, which you guys can explore in. You can open these gates up and make your way into the Iron Throne if you want to explore all these different little rooms and other things that they have. And of course make your way into the Iron Throne, where we currently have Helena sitting on the Iron Throne and Alison Hightower at her side, looking very nice. You of course have plenty of other rooms to explore, and yeah, there's a lot of detail. You can make your way out to the Godswood, which is out here somewhere, yeah, right here, and there's, yeah, as I said, a whole wealth of other things. I must not have one of the patches installed or something. It was something I really wanted to show off, and maybe I'll put some video on your screen right now from when I showed it off on screen. They also have the dragon pit fully done, and it looks absolutely insane. The expansion of that scene is beautiful, and just everything they've got is really impressive. And again, I hope that they give you loads of ways to go there and maybe tame a dragon, and have to do a whole wealth of things to actually be able to obtain that dragon when they finally implement them. I think it's gonna be really impressive, and yeah, this scene just is so good not to have to constantly come here for whatever reason. The last scene we'll show off today is, of course, Dragonstone. I mean, it's a great one to wrap up the scene stuff with. Then we'll take a look at some of the armors. So I think the Lannisters, Starks, Manderleys, Karstarks, and Targaryen armors have also all just been recently reworked as well to better fit into their faction, which again is a nice addition just to keep things fresh. But yeah, we'll take a little quick glimpse, and I mean, look how intimidating Dragonstone is when you're looking up at them walls. Imagine being told to come and siege this castle. Yeah, it's not going to go too well. So again, the siege team would have you pushing all the way over here to then come into this position, having to go up the gates, and then all this time you're being hammered from every direction. You're being sent whichever what way is you're trying to find a solution in this maze to eventually push your way up here and assault the main keep. So yeah, Dragonstone itself looks so intimidating. With the volcano still popping off, you have a position out here as well with soldiers training, I believe, out here. Yeah, you have soldiers training scattered around, and again right here, a nice little glimpse of some of the new Targaryen soldiers as well. But yeah, Dragonstone looks incredible, and they of course also have the keep scene fully done as well, so you can expand down. I mean, oh my lord, look at it. The snow is already coming down as well from Daenerys' vision. But yeah, you have obviously this beautiful scene with the throne right there as you make your way in. You can explore here. You even have the command table as well, you know, kind of showing off a lot of the territory, and you've got all the little kind of houses right there, which will be shown to where the armies are going and other things along those lines. So again, looks really cool. And as I said, this place just continues to expand up. You can, I'm sure, find plenty of other things. Like look, I'm just kind of running around, and there's so much here to explore, and there's rooms, and yeah, just so much detail has been taken to put into this. So I know there was a lot of settlements there, but now let's take a quick look at some of the new troop trees that they have been developing. So right here we have the new northern roster. It's going to be heavily focused around leather, some plate tier, and I like this. I like how the highest tier units aren't just in like full plate or anything else. They kind of keep that northern view. I feel like some mods that do go heavy plate on the highest tiers kind of just lose the actual look of the Northern Knights, but again, their roster is going to be really good. One thing I also really love that this mod does is it creates militia units, which will be the militia of the towns and cities that you're attacking. So when you roll up, you're not going to be fighting just peasants in like no armor. These guys have been prepared for war, and they're ready to go and taking castles. You know, they're going to have some good units. They're going to have tier 4 and tier 3 units ready to defend the castles and cities. The Lannisters, however, I think have some of the best looking units though as well. Their men-at-arms going all the way up to the highest tier, the Lannister Lion Guard. Like, look at that armor right there. Yeah, they have some really insane armor. That wealth is obviously showing, and it's obviously able to get them some really nice assets and armor. Of course, their knights are just as heavily armored as their foot soldiers, going all the way up here to the Lannister War Lancers as well. I think they make like these high tier soldiers like super expensive, or maybe only obtainable from like a lord or something, because yeah, the Lannisters have some really high tier units, and the armor definitely shows. And even the lower tier armors still look good nonetheless. I like the way that there's no vanilla assets here whatsoever. House Manderley also add their own unique unit roster, and these guys do go very much more with that medieval plate look. You can see their standard pikemen, their lancers looking really nice. I love this overcoat right there on the unit, making these higher tiers look really good. But even the lower tiers I think look really impressive, and seeing these different house units on the battlefield in a northern army is going to just make the battlefield really unique and interesting, with banners fluttering in the wind. It's honestly going to be great. The Karstarks also have a similar unit tree as well, going all the way up into these House Guard. They have some other very cool elite cavalry, and also some sharpshooters as well to add to the northern roster. And basically, you know, reiterating what I said previously, it would be very cool to see all them units kind of going ham. And then finally, we also have the Targaryen unit roster, again going all the way up to these tier 9s into these heavy three-headed dragons right there, looking very nice indeed. The cavalry across the board with different armor types as well, looking really impressive. I think they've done a great job with these armors, and once again, I really do love the militia as well, just making them unique, interesting, adding a lot to it. And something to just iterate as well, that's where I'm going to kind of be done showing things off, but there is so much more in the mod. Like, there's so many more different armors and units and scenes and stuff that I just haven't even covered. Like, I'm just going to jump through a couple of them just to kind of show you really quickly, but keep in mind, like, every faction has armor, weapons, soldiers. Like, over on the other side, House, you know, The Greens have a whole wealth of different types of soldiers as well compared to the Targaryens. We come down here into the Reach and you'll see a completely different unit roster. So there's like so much done in here that I just haven't even covered, but do bear in mind that like all this stuff is currently in the mod. And then again, you got all these like different custom sprites of the settlements, which I think look really, really good. I love the way that they've designed Dawn as well. I think Dawn looks really unique compared to other mods and other depictions of Westeros. So again, I'm a big fan of what they've done down here. Again, you have the Dornish. Some factions are a bit more basic than others and obviously just haven't had the same development time. Again, still look just as cool and really impressive here. You can see some of the Greyjoy units. This armor looks great right there. The Kraken armor looks insane. And they have also mentioned, if people are interested, that they are planning on implementing war sails in, so an Ironborn playthrough will go so hard and be really, really cool. So that's gonna about wrap things up. I could probably spend another hour showing stuff off, but I feel like I've already yapped enough. If there's anything specific you guys want to see from this mod, please do let me know, and I'll probably make another video when they do release the next beta patch, which will be with all the settlements removed. And as I said, right now, again, my computer is pretty good and the game is just warming up. But yeah, right now I've currently got, when I'm playing the game, I'm dropping between, I don't know, like 100 FPS when I'm moving my way across Castamere and other settlements. I'm sitting at roughly around about 57 FPS. But again, keep in mind, my computer is very, very good. Like, it's really top end of it. So people with worse computers would obviously be having a harder time here. So again, I think it's a really good idea for what they did to actually remove stuff and just really focus in on the Westeros gameplay. I think it's going to only benefit the mod. So go check them out. I'll leave a link to their Discord and their Patreon link down below in the description. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you guys want to see more stuff of this mod. Again, the more likes, the more comments that videos get, the more likely I will be to cover it again. So the best way to show support and new stuff for the channel is by dropping a like and a comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.